Alternative win condition. With Janaelle and Will. Welcome back to Alternate Win Condition. I am your host, Janaelle, and with me, as always, is the amazing and awesome Will.
Siege Rhino? Seriously? Siege Rhino again?
5-color Siege Rhino? Oh my god, have you seen that deck?
Are we really back to Siege Rhino versus Mantis Rider again?
we call the 5-color Siege Rhino deck 12 Siege Rhinos privately
12
in my
Rhinos?
circle of friends. 12 Siege Rhinos, yeah.
I'm about to say, I actually saw someone, they were sort of playtesting a deck on Magic Online that was literally 32 Siege Rhinos.
Okay, that's just dumb. Don't do that.
Like, because between the thing to copy it, the Mirror Mockery that when it attacks
that's the deck I'm talking about. That's the one. Yeah.
It's 12 Rhinos. So
12 Rhinos. Go fuck yourself, Scoop. All right. So now that we've told you all you didn't want to hear about Siege Rhino, we're going to move on and talk about what we did this week, which is bitch about Siege Rhino.
Magic the Gathering. Get the cards, play the game. Hope to win, but as we all know, it's not about winning.
Draft.
Commander.
Trading.
Legacy.
Modern.
Standard.
Tilt.
Table flip.
This Week in Magic starts now.
Alright, well, I did a whole bunch of playtesting. That's all I've really done because we've been flooding up in this area. So there's no driving down to play Magic. I've play-tested against Turbo Fog, though, and Mono Red, and White Black allies, so I think I'm pretty confident in where my Abzan and Eldrazi decks are going to fail, but we'll see when I finally get to a Friday Night Magic. What about you, Will?
I'll say, well, let's see. Since last episode, I talked about last episode that I was going to the SEG State Championships up here in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
I did go for both Standard and Modern. Standard, I ended up taking my Esper list, but I ended up splashing a 4th color for it in it. Because since the mana bases are really nice right now.
There's no reason not to, as long as you can pay $500 for the mana base.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, yeah. I was like, well, considering, I mean, literally, I had a playset of each of the lands from the case I opened. So I had...
just open a case. That's $500 is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And so I played Esper Red, and the red in there was literally for a couple cards. One of the cards was Draconic Roar, which is another one of those dragon cards that if you reveal it, it does something else. So it basically is like 3 damage to the creature. If you reveal a dragon, it also deals 3 damage to that creature's controller. So it's sort of like kill your creature and burn you in the face, essentially, with my type of deck. So
sounds legit.
Beyond that, it was running Kolaghan's commands, but that was more of out of a necessity since I only could play 2 of my 4 Jaces, since I don't actually own the other 2 Jaces in. And last episode, I made, or actually I should say 2 episodes ago. No, it was last episode too. I made a big misstatement. I want to clarify that right now. I said that technically you only need to have 2 Jaces to be able to play a 4-set. And I'm right, if you're playing Friday Night Magic. However, if you're playing competitive at like these events and stuff like that, like a Grand Prix trial or something like that, or IQ, you actually have to have all 4. They expect all 4 to be in the box. It's ridiculous, I know.
Who expects?
Huh?
Who
Judges.
expects?
Judges. It's like they will check you and you'll get a deck list error if you only have 2 Jaces, but you say you're running 4.
Oh, see, I thought you said you only need 2 for the deck.
No.
Okay, I misunderstood what the fuck you were talking about.
Yeah, I was like,
no, you have to have the card.
Yeah,
you have to have the card.
But see, I was making the argument that the most you can have is a face-up Jace and a flip Jace. So the most you can have on there at any one time is 2. Which again, technically on your board, yes, that's the most you can have.
Right, but it's in the deck, and if you list it in the deck, you have to have all the cards. Correct.
Yeah, and that's where I was mistaken. So, So I needed 4 Jaces since I did not have all 4 Jaces and didn't really want to spend an additional $160 to get to additional Jaces. I ended up playing a couple Kolaghan's commands.
Still.
Yeah. Ended up playing a couple Kolaghan's commands. I ended up going 2 and 4, missed out on prizes and everything else. So for the standard side. And then on the modern side, I've just been taking my Jeskai twin deck that I've been playing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up going 2-3. I could have probably closed it out and got 4-3 and maybe had been in the running for some prizes, but I got really tilted after my round 5 opponent.
Uh-oh, tilt.
Yeah, it's like, well, and it's tilt because this dude was playing a blue-white Gifts Tron deck, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Which playing Gifts Ungiven, which I know we talked a little bit about before, that how you find 4 cards, your opponent chooses 2 to give to you and 2 to put in the graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
This dude was taking the longest time on deciding what to pull out of his deck with Gifts Ungiven. And I gave him a little leniency. I probably gave him too much leniency, to be perfectly honest about it, because he said, oh, well, this is a deck friend gave me, so I've never really played this deck before. I'm like,
no excuses.
Oh my god, can you go any slower? It's like we finished game 1 and he won with 5 minutes on the clock to try to get into round 2. And of course I wasn't able to beat him to tie it up. So I was like, are you kidding me? Are you serious? Like, I was just so angry that he was just slow playing that badly.
I hate slow players, just in general. Don't do that. You're a fucking dick, and everybody in the world hates you.
Yeah, it's like, well, I told the judge after the fact that he said, well, you should have called a judge. I was like, well, I know, but it's one of those things that
No. I'm holding the mic really close to my mouth for a reason right now. Okay. If you only have 3 moves, pick one and move on.
Yes, I agree. Absolutely. So from that point on, I'm like, okay, well, from now on, whenever I go to these events, if someone's taking 3 minutes to decide a Gifts Ungiven or something like that, I'm calling a judge. It's like,
it's unacceptable.
Yeah, it's like this is taking way too long to do this. And honestly, I think my deck, usually against Tron, especially post board when I can bring in Blood Moon and stuff like that, I'm usually favored post board to beat them. But it's like, oh my god, it was just torture. It was literally torture for for the entire length of time. So,
so you took it out. Nice.
Yeah, that was kind of annoying. Beyond that, this week I actually worked days at my work, so I'm thankful I'm off nights for a while, and so
Good.
I was actually able to go play some Magic. I drafted Battle for Zendikar twice so far.
Nice.
Really enjoy this set. This is actually a really fun set. Fun set to draft. So, oh, you there?
I'm here.
Okay,
Totally here. I thought you were going somewhere with that.
No.
I thought you were going somewhere with that. All right, cool.
That's fine. Yeah.
I love the Zendikar for drafting.
I do. I really do. It's like, yeah, it's both times I ended up in blue devoid decks. One time was blue black. The other time was blue red.
Mm-hmm.
One time the first time I went 3-1. Second time
Wait, you ended up in blue red?
Blue red, yes.
Really? And how well did that do for you?
Amazingly well until I ran into someone who had a deck with 2 Guardians of Tazim in it,
that's just gonna fuck you sideways no matter what you do. So
yeah, it's like pretty much, yeah. But no, I was very happy.
That's like running into Ged.
Yeah,
it's like get wrecked.
In that draft, my pack 1 pick 1 was Rolling Thunder, which is always a really good first pick. It's just it ended a few games. It can wipe a board pretty effectively the later you go in the game. And then from there, it was just a bunch of Mist Intruders, Mythic Infiltrators, and then some stuff to take advantage of the processors. Like I had the one that if you process a card, you get to bounce a creature to your opponent's hand.
Mm-hmm.
I had the one that you gain 5 life if you're able to get him on the field. So yeah, it was a really good deck. But yeah. Somehow, and I'm assuming this is the other draft table because the table I was at, I assumed nobody would pass a Guardian of Tazim, much less 2 of them. So, and this guy had an Emiria Angel for some unknown ungodly reason as well, on top of everything else. Yeah, his deck was just stupid. It was an insanely powerful
deck. His deck looked at you and went, "Get wrecked."
Yeah, it's like you could do absolutely nothing with this. It's like, okay, all right. So, but yeah, no, I really enjoyed drafting the set. Played some modern. Still have not actually had, outside of the one states, I have not had a chance to play standard. But I'm going to change that today because we have game day.
Yay, game day!
And so
That's next week, right?
no, it's this week.
Oh, no, next weekend.
No,
It's
this week.
Sunday. It can't be this weekend. It's Sunday. We're here.
It is. It is. It was like it was yesterday and today. It's game day. Game day is always the weekend after the Pro Tour.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm not going to game day.
So so yeah, so I'm gonna go test that out a little bit. Made some changes to it. Main change I made to it is I put Radiant Flames in the main deck because that's just too good of a card, I think, not to.
Radiant Flames is good if you're playing more than 3 colors, 3 or more colors.
Yeah, if you're playing 3 colors, yeah, it's perfect because then you can just. I mean, it's an Anger of the God, so it's really nice. So
yeah.
But yeah, that's basically all that I've been up to besides trying to tweak my decks and everything else to get them ready. So
yeah, all the deck tweaking. Unfortunately, and now we're getting into our main topic of this week's show. It is not happening as much as we would like to see in the Pro Tour, nor is it happening as much at Friday Night Magic. Now, whoops, I hit the, sorry, technical difficulties, people. Technical difficulties, if you're watching on the YouTube, my fucking bad. Anyway, okay, I hit the wrong button. Now moving back to what we were talking about.
Okay, yeah, the Pro Tour. Yeah, I gotta be honest. Overall, I was very disappointed in the Pro Tour battle for Zendikar. Very, very disappointed.
And for those of you listening, what we're talking about here is there is no experimentation going on here. All of these, there are so many fucking good cards. There's so many, you can play any fucking color you want right now with the mana base we have. And Pro Tour has, correct me if I'm wrong, 3 fucking decks in top 8?
Let's see. 10, let's call it technically 4 because there was a
Jeskai and Dark Jeskai, that's the same fucking thing.
But one of them is a Jeskai tokens deck that was using Jeskai Ascendancy from the old format, so I don't really want to classify that one as the exact same as the other Jeskai deck and the Dark Jeskai deck. So
that's fair.
I would say 4 is you had Jeskai and Dark Jeskai, which you can loop together. Abzan.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. There was 2 different Abzan decks, both on the same side of the bracket, and both of them made it to the semifinals. So that meant by default one of them was going to be in the finals.
Yeah.
One mono Atarka red, but it was more the combo version that we talked about last episode with the Become Immense, Teamer Battle Range, kill you in 1 turn type combo deal. Mm-hmm. And then I'm trying to think. I think that was the 4 of them. And then the Jeskai tokens deck was the oddball out essentially. So. Now there were some really interesting decks, but they didn't make top 8 unfortunately. It is like example Patrick Chapin's Esper control deck, which doesn't use dragons, but he basically what he did essentially was build your own Elspeth.
Yeah. And
had secure the waste to end of your turn, make a bunch of tokens, then play a Gideon, make the emblem, swing and kill you essentially. So. It's like, so, I mean, there were some interesting decks, but, I mean, nothing revolutionary. Definitely nothing with Eldrazi, which is what I think we were kind of hoping for was...
Any Eldrazi decks? Somebody to run fucking...
Ulamog or something.
Thank you, Ulamog.
Yeah, yep. It was like, yeah, I was sort of hoping to see something like that, but unfortunately it just did not happen. And so, yeah, it was like, yeah, it seems like the main cards from Battle for Zendikar right now are Gideon, Ally of Zendikar, and the lands. And Omnixilus to a certain lesser extent, I guess, but it is like...
And anybody who can drop 4 fucking Siege Riders on you, they win, because Rhino!
Yes, yeah. Rhino is strong right now, so... Well, I mean, Rhino's always been strong. I can't wait until after Oath of the Gatewatch, the next set, when Khans of Tarkir rotates and we don't have to deal with that damn Rhino anymore.
But everybody who's playing Rhino is like, no, my Rhino!
No Rhinos! So yeah,
let's talk briefly what we've been seeing in the Pro Tour. So we're looking at, we've got Abzan, of course, 2 different Abzan decks. They were mostly the same, but
yeah,
they have Rhino, Abzan Charm, Dromoka's Command. Moving on.
Yeah.
Then we've got a bunch of Jeskai decks. Some of them are splashy into black. And I kind of thought it was cute how they call this dark Jeskai. I thought that was adorable. But that's all it really is adorable. Because there's so many fucking Jeskai decks. And then we've got white-green Megamorph, which is just Abzan without Siege Rhino.
Well, okay, see, actually, that's bad. I forgot about that one, yeah. So technically there were 5 decks in the top 8, because the green-white Megamorph does play very, very differently than the Siege Rhino decks. So, yeah.
Says you.
I
Siege
think
Rhino, hit the deck, swing, deal with threats. That's Abzan. Green-white Megamorph does the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Swing with shit, deal with threats, win the game. Same deck.
Pretty much, yeah. Honestly, yeah. The more you think about it, yeah, it basically is.
It's Abzan without Siege Rhino.
I know.
Which I don't know why you would play Abzan without Siege Rhino. So.
Well, admittedly, the weekend before at the Star City event, the weekend before Battle for Zendikar, or Pro Tour Battle for Zendikar, Green-White Megamorph was the first and second place finishing deck. So.
Yeah, it is a really good deck.
It is a really good deck, but you're right. It is essentially probably Abzan-esque without
Siege Rhino.
Without Siege Rhino, yeah.
Anyway, alright, so my problem with this is that, okay, I am playing Abzan. I've practiced my Abzan deck versus my Eldrazi deck. I've practiced my Eldrazi versus Mono Red. I got them to where I think they're pretty good. Now, my Abzan deck, of course, looks a lot like... Which Abzan deck was it? I think it was the winning one.
Yeah,
It looks a lot like that, yeah. Not exactly like that, but it's pretty fucking close. I just run Drana, and he doesn't. Which I don't know why, but that's neither here nor there. I don't run Gideon either. But my point being that decks like Abzan, and yes, I'm criticizing myself, thank you for noticing, are... and have been the top deck because of netdecking. The whole fucking time Siege Rhino's been a thing. Not just because of netdeck though, because Siege Rhino is so fucking good. It's 6 of one, half of the other. You just can't beat it if they draw 3 Siege Rhinos. You're fucked.
Yeah,
You're fucked.
I would say unless you have a way to make sure they don't hit the table, which again is blue, is into your counter spells.
And as you noticed, there was very little blue. Just the Jeskai, who's not really running counter spells that I saw.
Not to the same extent. I mean, the biggest spell I think most of the Jeskai decks ran was Ojutai's Command, and that they only ran that because... Well, actually, I'm sorry. They did run a couple of the spells, but those only help with instances. But Ojutai's Command was mainly your get your Jace back from your graveyard for free card.
Yeah.
So... I mean, it's still very effective, and it is, you know, it has a recall back to Cryptic Command.
It is what it is. It is. And so, okay, Abzan's good because netdeck and because fucking Siege Rhino. But at the same time, we were seeing a whole bunch of other decks. We saw blue-white dragons come up. We saw mono red. We saw that black deck for a little while. Black soldiers. I don't know if anybody, you guys ran into that. Yeah. What else? Fuck. My brain just farted. Jeskai, of course, has been around. Blue-white heroic was there for a little while.
Well, thankfully, with Theros, heroic is gone. There is no more.
No, my point is that there was a large variety of decks. We had a lot of stuff going on. Now, you would think with Battle for Zendikar, which has so many fucking good cards, that card you were just talking about, the 3 colorless blue-green that lets you go search for a creature.
Bring to light, yeah.
Bring to light. That one, it's so fucking good. I don't understand why more decks don't have that in that fucking deck. You've got green-red doing stupid shit with landfall that's... If you haven't run into the green-red landfall deck, I don't mean... what's the green-red deck?
Atarka Red, not the Atarka Red.
I don't mean Atarka Red, which is ridiculously good in its own right. I mean the green-red landfall deck, which gets fucking Omnath in on turn 5, and you're like, I'm gonna go suck a dick, because my life's over.
Yep.
That deck is so good. It's not amazing, but it's if it could get refinement from some Pro Tour players, it would be ridiculously good.
I think this is an important point that we need to bring up right now about the Pro Tour players, and because it's sort of the difference between a meta and a local meta. And what I mean by that is the Pro Tour meta is very different than, say, what you face on Friday Night Magic.
As most people are aware, I'm sure.
As most people are aware, yes. It's like sometimes some of the decisions, especially during the Pro Tour, are based on the fact that it's the Pro Tour and it's not necessarily always the right call every weekend and week out.
Right.
And so it's one of those things just kind of think about is, and honestly, I think that's part of the reason why we didn't see a lot of innovation at this Pro Tour, was because it's the Pro Tour. This is not the time where you want to,
where you want to be giving something a shot.
Right,
where,
yeah. You don't want to just be testing.
At the same time,
yeah.
I disagree, but I come from a different perspective where, I don't want to be taking a chance. When I compete, it's, I want to take a chance on this because I think nobody's going to be able to fucking deal with this shit. Like, right. I believe there was a Pro Tour where somebody brought in a deck that was control and then sideboarded into, like, dragons or something, or vice versa, I can't remember which, and just nobody could deal with it because they sideboarded for control and then got hit with an aggro deck.
Yeah.
That, and nobody had seen anybody do that before. That was the first time anybody had built a switching deck like that. And yeah. I approve of that kind of Pro Tour playing.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, absolutely.
Bring something that no one can handle. Don't bring something you know is good. But, I'm not in the Pro Tour. I would never want to be in the Pro Tour. I know, that's weird. Hey, but whatever. Anyways, what I'm saying is there's a lot of stuff out there that I was really hoping to see show up. Like, how is there not a single fucking Ulamog deck? How is that not a thing?
Well, see, I sort of explained a little bit last week when we were talking, or last episode when we were talking about why we hadn't seen an Ulamog yet.
And it made sense last time we talked about it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me anymore.
Well,
But
see,
recap what you told everybody, because maybe they'll disagree with me.
I'm about to say, well, see, I said that the Eldrazi require a very specific deck to be built. And it's like, it's not the easiest thing to come up with in the world. And the fact of the matter is, I mean, even since the release of Battle for Zendikar, it had only been 2 weeks.
Yes.
Since the release. So that's the soonest. They were only practicing for 2 weeks. So even then, it may not be enough time to hash out the exact 75 to make a Eldrazi ramp deck work.
And I will say this for my Eldrazi deck. It gets wrecked if you aggro it just right. Like, It goes up against Abzan, and then it cries. And I haven't worked out why yet. I'm getting there. I think I have to add white, which means I think I need another $150 worth of land-based cards. But I think I can get there.
Right. It's like, I think there's a couple things hurting the Eldrazi possibility deck right now. One is, I don't think we've figured out what the mana ramp strategy is for this new format.
Don't say we. My mana ramp is fucking amazing. If you haven't run into Kiora fucking with somebody with a mana creature, you have not witnessed the glory that is our new Kiora. She's so good.
But what I mean by mana ramp is, like, in the last standard before Theros rotated, we have Elvish Mystic. Here was usually how most of the big mana ramp decks worked. Was Elvish Mystic into Sylvan Caryatid.
That's true. Yeah.
It's like, and we don't have that. So by turn 3, you're not already going to have 5 mana on board. If we had something like that.
No, but I turn 5 drop Ulamog. What's wrong with that?
Okay, it's like, you mean the turn after you play Kiora. It's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I mean, yeah, okay, so turn 3 I'm not dropping something that costs 5 mana. I'm waiting 2 more turns and I'm dropping something that costs 10. Fuck off, that's amazing.
It is good. I will be honest, yes, that is very good. I think there are some cards that will specifically could help with that strategy. And I think some of them have been... Honestly, the one card that I was hoping I would see some of and didn't see at all, I was hoping someone would try to find a way to work From Beyond.
From Beyond.
Yep.
What does that do again?
It is 3 in a green. It's an enchantment. and it says at the beginning of your upkeep, you get a 1/1 Eldrazi Scion token that you can set for mana. But the other cool thing,
too slow.
but the
I
other thing,
tried it.
Well, see, that's the thing is, and that's why I was saying last week. I said I think a control deck version that could use that and protect it would be amazing, because then it can also act as a tutor for 1 in a green. Is you can go get your Ulamog from the deck.
I'm using Conduit of Ruin as my tutor because he's also a big ass.
Yeah, he is. He's a huge creature, so I can see that as well. Yeah, that would definitely work. So, I think there is a mana ramp strategy. I just don't know if anybody's put in the time to actually find.
And that's what I think the problem is.
Right.
And that's my point. Is nobody's coming out to the Pro Tour, which is the net deck. And that's the topic, guys. We're talking about the net deck.
Yep.
Right now, you're looking at a format that can be so much bigger than it is, and it's not, because the Pro Tour is doing a bunch of stuff that it feels like to me they're not taking the full potential of this set we have.
I was like, well, I mean, I'm not going to discredit them to that much, because I think I tend to think that, I mean, they did get 2 weeks of testing in with these decks,
and I still think they could have done better. They've got a bunch of good decks out there, and that's great. Honestly, Atarka Red I saw that and I went, that's what I want to see. I want to see that kind of shit. The green-white Megamorph, that's amazing. The way people are putting in, any color you want into the normal decks like Abzan and Jeskai, right, and making them 5 colors, that's great. But then you go, that's this Abzan and Jeskai, that's the exact same thing. Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, you did something that was really, really cool, and then whatever. I wanted to see more variety, because when I'm looking at these cards, and yeah, I'm not a Pro Tour, but, I've played a lot of fucking Magic, so I'm gonna not say I don't know nothing about what I'm talking about. There's so much that's just not out there. There is so much mana ramp that people like you, Will, are just like, well, I just don't see it. Well, I see it.
But I mean, like, the earliest mana ramp is turn 2 right now if you have a Rattleclaw Mystic, or you can play the new 2/2 with haste that adds 1 mana of any color, but you can only cast it for creatures.
But see, where I'm playing, right, with the mana ramp, is that doesn't matter. I'm dropping turn 3. There is one more you're missing. It's the 2 cost that lets you go fetch a land out of your deck. It's not exactly the mana ramp people are used to, but it still helps. You can do that on turn 2. Turn 3, you can drop a dude that gets you any color mana you need. Turn 2 still, you can steal something from their deck, control with Transgress the Mind. That was going to help them win the game. You can anticipate. You don't have to be dropping on turn 2. It's slower, yes, but you're using that to your advantage, because turn 2, now you do something instead. Turn 3, you drop a mana dirt. Turn 4, if you're in the happy space, you get a Kiora.
Yeah, it's like, and then you get to start doing some really fun stuff. So
yeah, and then ridiculous shit happens, especially if you can get down more the Lifespring Druid or the I don't even know my own deck names.
It's like, so
Oblivion Sower, and steal their land. I love stealing people's land. It's such a good feeling. Why don't more people steal other people's land?
Well, see, and that's the thing that, especially as someone who loves their dig through time, the first time someone casts an Oblivion Sower against me, I'm gonna be like, oh fuck, really? Because I spent literally the first probably 7-8 turns of the game trying to set up a dig through time so that way I can get the card selection I need. And while I appreciate you getting me through my deck a little deeper, at the same time, it's like,
I took your land.
Took all my land. It's like, I mean, I didn't need them anymore anyway, but still, like, really?
And it's really, really awesome when they're mana screwed and you Oblivion Sower. That's the best.
Oh yeah, it's like.
But the whole time you're setting this up, you've got counter spells in your hand. I'm running Obnath, so he's half my removal, and he's drawing me more cards.
Yeah.
It's it's out there in blue with the Eldrazi to monoramp. No, it's slower.
Oh my god!
But fucking all the control decks are slower.
Oh my god! Omnath with Oblivion Sower. It's like if you get Omnath out first, then do Oblivion Sower.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
I know my deck sounds a little crazy. There's only one Omnath, but that's it's because I'm gonna hold the game for the next 8 turns. So if I can draw one Omnath and fucking play it. And just keep dropping all the lands I've got in my deck, you're gonna lose.
Right. He's like,
I didn't even get to Ulamog.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, it's like, I mean, there are some strategies I think that have not been fully fleshed out yet. And unfortunately, and I think this is probably where the biggest issue comes in right now, is I think the cards from Khans of Tarkir are so powerful, the Khans of Tarkir block, that is sort of keeping the innovation down right now. Is like because you have your Siege Rhinos, your Mantis Riders, your Jace Vryn's Prodigy. You have
fuck that card.
And
I just mean the price on that card, not that card, but
it's like it really is. The cards are so powerful that now that is one good thing that now that we do have the quicker rotation schedule in Standard. I think these cards will have a time to shine, but it may not be until after we lose those Siege Rhinos and the Mantis Riders,
etc. Yeah,
etc.
I completely agree with you, and that's what I'm complaining about.
Right.
I just think that there's so much out there that we're missing. And when you look at the net deck, all these cards, and this is going to be anybody who's really paying attention, means all these is going to hear what I'm about to say. Fuck, those words did not make any sense, so I'm sorry. But the cards that are amazing and not getting use cost nothing right now.
Yeah. Okay,
Kiora
I see what you're saying.
is ridiculously cheap. So is Obnixilis. Gideon is a stupid amount of money, and don't even get me started on how overpriced that fucking card is.
Yeah, he is considerably overpriced. As I said, now I will say this, because if you look at this is the one reason why Gideon's really expensive right now, and I completely agree behind this. The first place and the second place deck, although they were playing two different decks, one was playing Abzan and one was playing Jeskai, guess what card was in both decks?
Gideon, 4 of. Yeah.
4 of. Gideon, 4 of in both decks. That card is powerful, especially when you start combining it with stuff like Hangerback Walkers and everything else. It's like, I understand the $40 price tag. Will I think it stay at $40 forever? No, of course not. But I think it's something right now. I don't know exactly what it is, but it is.
No, it's not as good as everybody says it is. No. Just no.
It's like it does something really, really powerful, and that's what I think is the big thing. Is that because I mean, how many times can you get a emblem to give all your creatures +1/+1 that the opponent cannot interact with it in any way whatsoever? They can't blow it up. They can't do anything else with it.
Yes, I think it is a very good card. I don't think it's as good as everybody says it is.
No, I would tend to agree with that. I think it is a little bit overrated, but probably not by much.
I think it should have been a $20 card and stayed there, goddammit.
So.
Anyway, not important. Point being, the net deck right now, you can pick up a lot of shit if you're trading, and I told you this before, I don't buy cards. I only trade. I'll buy a box, and that'll be the end of it. But if you're picking up shit like Omnath, like Kiora, etc., that people that are looking at right now and they're going, oh, well, all the decks online aren't using those decks, so I want to be super awesome, and I totally want to only play the decks that are online, so fuck those cards. Then you can get a lot of money right now that when we rotate.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because, we won't have Siege Rhino and Mantis Riders forever, and eventually people are going to look for replacements. So, like, for example, a card right now that for the life of me, I can't figure out why it costs what it costs in terms of how cheap it is, but Woodland Wanderer.
And what does Woodland Wanderer do?
It's a 3 and a green. It starts off as a 2/2 with Converge, and for each color mana you use to spend on it,
Oh God, yes.
you get a +1/+1 counter on it. So technically, if
She
you're
shows
playing
up as a 3/4.
well, no. If you use 2 colors of mana, it's a 4/4 trample vigilance.
Oh,
If
okay.
you,
This is a different card.
if you use 3 colors, it is a 5/5 with vigilance trample, which if you remember 5/5 is actually bigger than Siege Rhino. If you can get all 4 colors of the converge on it, you have a 6/6 vigilance trample. That I'm like, how is someone attacking through that?
Nobody is swinging through that.
It's a card that, down the road that I can see once Siege Rhino leaves us, because Siege Rhinos enter the battlefield trigger is a lot more powerful than Woodland Wanderers.
Yes.
But once Siege Rhino starts rotating, then you're going to want to pick up Woodland Wanderer, because that's probably going to be your new 4-drop in that type of deck, is to be like, okay, here. It's like,
yeah.
So, especially since we're going to still have those battle lands. Now, we do lose the fetch lands. That's the one.
Which is going to kind of mix everything up.
Well, I think it's going to mix everything up, but only in the respect that I think we'll have.
We can't run 4 or 5 colors as easily.
I personally think, and I had someone else actually agree with me on this theory, that in the set after Oath of the Gatewatch, which is the second half of Battle for Zendikar, in the next set, we're going to get the enemy colored fetches.
Yeah, but that's not the next set. That's the set after.
Well, but Oath of the Gatewatch fetches and Siege Rhino will still be legal. It'll be the set after that when it rotates out.
Oh, now I'm totally confused.
Okay, so, all right, so after Battle for Zendikar block, which includes Battle for Zendikar and Oath of the Gatewatch.
Right. Okay. Now I'm with you.
Okay. After that block, once that block is finished, before the next block starts, whatever that block is.
Yeah, we're gonna
lose Concert Tarkir and Fate Reforged.
Right.
And so that means
when we lose those, we'll get the new fetches. I agree.
Correct. Yeah. And part of the reason why everybody's thinking this as well is because we have these expeditions that we're getting the enemy colored fetches. So it's sort of silly not to be able to play with the enemy colored fetches expeditions that you open in Battle for Zendikar.
Yes.
And so that's sort of the other theory behind why we're getting those enemy colored fetches. So, but
we will see what happens. Either way, the fact of the matter is that the net deck, which is frustrating the shit out of me, is going to help anybody paying attention to card value.
Correct.
So,
yeah. Down the road. Right
now. Right now is when you need to pick this shit up. Because
that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Give it 6 months, and they're going to just go back up. So,
correct.
Get what you need for your deck, and then pick up the stuff that's going to be good coming soon, like Omnath, like Obnixilis, like Kiora, like Bring to Light, and what was say the card again?
Woodland Wanderer. Yeah.
Pick up these cards.
Yeah, there are a lot of good cards in Battle for Zendikar right now that are really cheap that will have to be played sometime down the road. Like, even if it's not today or tomorrow.
Because they're stupid good.
Yeah. So, but getting back to just talking about net decks in general, in terms of like, why should you play a net deck? If you're someone who's a competitive Magic player, what's the advantages of a net deck over your own sort of brew?
Let's state right now, there's nothing wrong with net decking.
Yes, yeah, I don't think either one of us are saying you shouldn't net deck. No,
we're complaining about net deck for 2 reasons. The Pro Tour is not giving us as much variety as we wanted, and
the cards are super expensive.
Oh, and the cards are super expensive. Expensive. That's it. That's all we're complaining about. Okay.
Yeah, but
so if you want a net deck, go for it.
Yeah, it's like net decking is a very powerful thing because I mean, as we said, yes, we didn't get as much innovation as we hoped, but the fact of the matter is the pros tested these decks up and down. I mean,
they have all the time in the world to do nothing but test this shit.
Yeah. So you're getting a good product if you take one of these decks. The synergies are going to be there that you're looking for. The power is going to be there versus if you build something on your own, it may be there, it may not. If you, for some reason you just do not like taking someone else's deck, then I would recommend you do kind of what I like to do, and I call it deck tweaking. or net tweaking, I guess, maybe the better term for it.
And this is also something that can be done if you can't quite afford
Correct.
the
yes.
net deck. Because again, Gideon is $40
Right. So say for example,
Jace is $70.
So say for example, like you're in my situation, you only have 2 Jaces. Okay, so then what can you use to replace the 2 Jaces? Is like, well, you can since I play a control deck more or less, I probably want a couple additional spells in there, whether it's Kolagon's Command, Silk Wrap. That's probably the first things I would look for are kind of additional interaction with the opponent. Or better yet, a way to get it back from the graveyard. So for example, maybe run a couple extra Urgentize commands so that you can get it back. So
and it's also for your play style. Like, for instance, I can't stand Den Protector. Not because it's a bad card, it's an amazing card. I agree that the Den Protector should be in every fucking green deck that's an aggro deck. I don't like the card. Like, I don't like Languish. Couldn't tell you why, I just don't like the card.
Right.
So I don't run 4 Den Protectors. I run 2.
Yeah, if you, in between like net decking and brewing your own stuff or tweaking your own stuff, essentially, when you're net decking, a lot of the pros are just going to be like, all right, I need 4 of this card, just base. For
like
example,
Tremoka's Command and Jace. Fucking good cards.
Fucking good cards. You want them in your deck, and you want to try to run 4 of them as possible. But sometimes, the pros have access to a lot more cards than your normal person.
A lot more money.
And they also have teams paying for them and everything else.
That's why I said a lot more money.
So it's like you have to be under the realization that you may not be able to just. If I wanted to, yeah, I'm sure. Since I have a doctorate in pharmacy, I'm a pharmacist. If I wanted to buy, the deck of the week every single week, could I do it? Yeah, probably. But do I want to do it? No.
No. That gets into a totally different issue, and I know a guy at my Magic who does this. You buy the fucking deck. You don't play the deck except at Friday Night Magic. That means you don't know how to play the deck, and it doesn't matter how good the deck is. You will lose. It's not how you play this game.
And that is the biggest thing. I think that's the biggest point that we can take away from all of this, I think, is whether you net deck, whether you build your own brew. The fact of the matter is, play your deck. As soon as you run into an issue, don't give up on a deck. Like,
deck testing is important.
Deck testing is important.
When you're testing a deck, you run into a problem, you solve the problem. Like I was just talking about with my fucking Eldrazi deck cannot handle Abzan. Okay, so what am I thinking about? I think I'm going to add white. You fix the problem. You don't abandon your deck unless your deck loses to everything.
Right, yeah. I mean, if you play 100 games with your deck and you lose 80% of your games, then, you know what, chances are, you probably need to change your deck. It's probably not the best thing in the world. But, if you play 100 games with it and you win, 60% of them, then chances are you could probably tweak your deck enough to the point of improving it to get up to the 65-70% range on decks. Now, you also have to remember that, yes, this is a card game, too. It's like variance is real. And so not every time you lose with a deck is it bad, and not every time when you win with a deck is amazing. It's like sometimes, the
opponent's deck shit all over them.
Yeah. And so those are all things to remember. So, like, for example, since we were talking about the deck that I took to the state championships, I'm not abandoning the deck. I am tweaking it more. It's like, because I realized, I need more early game interaction than what this original version had me. So that's why I said adding Radiant Flames, adding Silk Wrap to get rid of Hangerback Walkers and stuff like that. So it's sort of taking the broad stroke ideas that the pros had and then incorporating them into a better package for what you're playing, essentially.
But deck building is not for everybody.
No, and I'll say, and I mean, I gotta be honest, deck building is not easy.
No,
it is not easy at all. It's like, because besides you have to know kind of what creatures, planeswalkers, spells you want. Developing mana bases right now is one of the most difficult things probably in building a deck.
Yep.
Because we do have these battle lands. So do you like, okay, do I want to stick with just the 2-color, make it easy, like in a Tarka red deck? Do I want to go 3 colors, like an Esper or a Bant, or
Can I
something like that?
splash?
Or go 3 colors and a splash, like Abzan blue, Jeskai red, Jeskai black. Is like,
How do the
it's kinda-
fucking manlands work? Can I run them?
yeah.
There's a
So,
lot of questions out there.
well, see, and that's for example. See, like if I was just running straight Esper dragons, I would be running 4 of the shambling Mets
Mm-hmm.
because it fits in the colors. However, since I'm splashing red, guess what? Doesn't work as well. So I'm actually cutting the shambling Mets.
A lot of different tweaks, but if you're not a deck builder, that's fine.
Right.
What you're gonna do instead is peruse all the decks, not just the top 8, and
Yes.
see what all the variations were. Look at the
Yep.
variations. Check. Say the top Abzan deck ran Warden of the First Tree. Not all the Abzan decks that were on play that day ran Warden of the First Tree.
Correct.
So if you don't have it, you can't acquire it. See what else they were running. Maybe they're still running Rakshasa. Maybe they're still running Soren instead of Gideon somewhere. There's lots of options.
Yeah, and that is absolutely true. Is if there are always options for replacements. Now, are the replacements going to be as good? Probably not.
No, not necessarily, because they might harmonize better with each other because you replaced a whole bunch of different shit.
That is true too. It's like, but that's again, that gets back to the testing portion. Is test it and see what works.
If you ever run up with every time I draw this card, I wish it was something else. Cut that card out of your fucking deck.
That is true. That is absolutely true. It's like, yeah, if you run into like every time I play this card, I want to, I never get to play it. It's like, then yeah, that's probably not a main deck card. That's maybe a sideboard card at best.
Maybe just not a good card. When we were first building our decks, we were running into Drana's ally or whatever, the 1 black, 1 white, 1 colorless, every upkeep you gain life. And Drana's Emissary, that's the one. She's got flying, she's a 2/2, she gives you life, she takes their life. Sounded good. That's a fucking bad card if you're not running allies.
True. Very true. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, really good in the ally deck, probably not good in much else. Like, and probably good in if you're doing like a life gain type of deck.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So work on it, figure it out, and if you need help, you can email people, not just us, Twitter, but yeah, you can email us. You want us an opinion on a card, you want to talk about, I don't know, cats, you can do all sorts of stuff like that. Because we have an email and we have to wrap the show up.
Well, and actually, just one other quick real quick, because speaking of sharing your deck list and stuff like that, Google Docs is amazing for this. Like, I will, if I'm at work and I'm just like, oh, I came up with a deck idea, I'm just going to try to jot this down real quick. And then I usually share it on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll see me posting my lists every so often once I make little tweaks to it and everything else. And you can do that. If you do that, I love looking at people's deck lists to be like, okay, well, here's what I think really works, and here's what I think may not work so well for you. But
yeah,
it's interesting.
I see people do it on Facebook too. It's a great way to get your point across. More importantly, people looking at your stuff, and you're getting the eyes of the team that the pros have that we don't. Well, I have my own team, but they're my group of friends, so whatever.
Like, and I have people on Twitter who look at my deck list. I had someone suggest last night, and actually I'm going to try it today at game day, is instead of running 4 Jace, run 3 Jace and run a Dragon Master Outcast instead. And so I'm going to try that because, I mean, since I am running Ojutai's commands, I can get Dragon Master Outcast back after I have 6 lands on the battlefield, and then just start making 5/5 dragon tokens for, like, nothing, essentially.
Yeah.
So.
Because you're a dick.
Yeah, it's like...
It's like running 12 rhinos.
Well, it does give you additional dragons. It's like, I mean, yeah, it doesn't work really well when I'm trying to cast Crux's Fate and then have to kill the Dragon Master Outcast.
No, it makes you a dick. It just makes you a dick. All right.
Yeah.
So, if you want to email us about how much of a dick Will is,
yes,
do that.
Please do. Yes, I enjoy that.
If you want to email us and let us know how much I need to just shut up because all my words don't make any sense, then just shut up because I don't give a shit.
It's like, but if you want to email the show is awcpodcast@gmail.com. The show has a Twitter @awcpodcast. That's where you'll find when we upload the shows and everything else. Usually, I've been trying to throw a question of the week out there, and
We're bad at
sometimes
this
get responses.
podcasting game.
Yeah, it's like sometimes we get responses, sometimes we don't. But then you can follow Janelle on Twitter at.
Well, you don't really want to follow me right now because I haven't posted in like 3 weeks. But Janelle5, Janaelle and the number 5. I just haven't Twitter. I just don't right now. Yeah. I'll be back. It's just not my gig at the moment.
Yeah, it's like, and you can find me at Force of Will MTG. Let's see. You can find the show at a bunch of different places. I want to start off with this one first. I know
new places.
New places. We are finally on MTG Cast.
Woo! Applause!
Yes. It's like, all right. So, yes, thank you for all the new listeners. Definitely would like you to comment on MTG Cast. If you
would like you to comment on MTG Cast. Listen, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. I don't read comments. All right? I will read email, but I don't do comments.
Correct, yeah. And so, but comment, or maybe better yet, just share the show. It was like,
tell all your friends who play Magic.
Yes, it's like, share the show with everybody. We're also on SoundCloud. We can get like and a repost there. Stitcher, give a thumbs up there. YouTube, comment, like. iTunes, 5-star review, of course, and a review would be awesome.
All that does is helps get the show to new ears, and that's how the show stays alive. If we can keep up the random fucking momentum we have right now, then maybe I can actually buy some better recording software.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And you guys can keep watching my cat gifs on YouTube. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, you haven't seen the show on YouTube.
It's like, and then, of course, our final sort of sponsor is boltstatbolt.net. That's where you can find my weekly blog, Force of Will. Well, I should say, let's call it frequent blog. Maybe not even weekly blog. Let's call it frequent.
The thing he does.
Yes. Frequent blog at Force of Will on there. But the big thing is Puka Trade. If you go on there, you can trade cards. If you wanted to pick up some of those Battle for Zendikar cards right now that are sort of dirt cheap, like that's an excellent way to do it. It's like you trade off the cards you don't need anymore, or say trade your Gideons or something like that, get a bunch of points, and use all that to get all the other cards that you may need down the road.
It's a very good idea. Especially if you only have one store to go to. If you trade cards as often as I do, you hit a rut when you've traded with everybody. You know what everybody has, and everybody knows what you have. Yep. At that point, Puka Trade is your friend.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, definitely check them out. There's a referral link right on the boltstatbolt.net website. So check them out.
And thank you for listening. We will be back when we are back with more alternate win condition.
Bye.
Bye.